Who survives the Attack on Titan finale? Which Titan goes extinct? So what's up guys, Foxen here. A very appropriate Halloween special. Who lives past the Attack on Titan finale? Any surprise resurrections coming? Could there actually be some characters untouchable even for Isayama? Let's find out. So go ahead and Colossal Smash that like, otherwise Eren will Colossal Smash you. No, but really subscribe, we're almost at 500,000. Plus ring the bell. Really, this 2020 Halloween will be an especially sad one for Attack on Titan fans. Potato Girl Sasha got no-scoped, Falco's brother super crispy, Porco actually went into zombie mode, all those hardcore Jaeger fans liquefied, the brothers from a different mother went down with the ship, and most recently Hanji reenacting Armin's scene from season 3. Seriously, gone way too early. It felt like her taken away just snapped something inside of me. Oh, but did I forget about some other couple of fallen titans? Nah, probably not. Anyway, let's get into our Deadpool. Is there any character loss that would actually make you say, screw Attack on Titan? Are the odds in their favor? Kicking this off with the Attack on Titan trio. Eren, the quote-unquote big bad. Does he die? Does he live? Massive diehard Eren fans naturally wouldn't want their best boy to croak. But let me actually get more specific with this coin toss. I got a feeling that Isayama will actually try to have his Titan meat cake and eat it too. What I mean is, by either option, I feel that Isayama will at certain conditions. If Eren dies, Isayama could have Eren living at the end, perhaps taking in all the remainder of the Titan curse, and then naturally expiring after his 13-year ticker runs out. If Eren lives, perhaps that would also be taking on any Titan responsibilities, meaning using himself to seal up the Titan realm and hence locking the Titan powers away. In this way, Eren technically survives. You might even say that Eren is immortal, but definitely not the end of time sentence that anyone would wish for. So let me know, should the great Master Jaeger perish for his recent actions? Really curious about your current stance. Next up, Armin. Not counting the possibility of him withering away due to some lingering curse of Ymir, I say the chances for this guy are low. Unless that is coupled with this double KO move against Eren. Talking about curses, hopefully Armin is able to break the curse of the Survey Corps commander dying. I mean, you even had Keith, who despite retiring eventually couldn't escape that fate too. Besides, Armin has a lovely little blonde pie ready to return to. Gotta make up for lost time. And hopefully she's been aged up, otherwise there's gonna be some fun on Twitter later when the series airs. On the other hand, Armin has already escaped the Titan Shinigami once. I'm gonna stick with Armin getting stuff that's being low. As to whether he should or shouldn't die, I could really go either way depending on how Isayama's gonna handle this. Will Isayama just make it another possible day for the Survey Corps commander? Getting to Mikasa. I honestly see Mikasa as being one of the safest characters in the Attack on Titan series. Really only one character rivaling Mikasa for this spot. You know, Mikasa is part of the Asian clan, she's got the Ackerman blood, and has most recently gained this vague royalty post-time skip connection. Her living would actually make working out deals with her lovely relative Kiyomi that much easier. And don't get me wrong, this is not discounting Mikasa getting seriously hurt. I'm still really curious to see whether she actually gets this God mode moment for her. You know, if the top Ackerman spot becomes vacant. So, how do you see her fate? How many of you are still a diehard Mikasa fan? Personally, I'm still waiting for Isayama to work his magic on this Ackerman lady. Oh, here is a fun one, Gabi. I think it's justifiable to say she's definitely been one of the most disliked characters post-time skip. And I'm not even speaking about myself, I'm speaking about the Attack on Titan fan community overall. Not only has Gabi been seen as this Eren clone, she eventually killed Potato Girl Sasha. Isayama definitely didn't make that pill easier to swallow, as he's really been shoving Gabi down our throats, really to be this Sasha replacement. And that's not even getting into the very predictable plotline for her. But what is very relevant for this topic is Gabi's plot armor. Really, she has some of the thickest armor I've seen in the longest time. So I'm calling it now, Gabi is living to the very end. Which shouldn't be surprising, she is related to Reiner, which is harder to kill than anything. And even if Gabi dies, I could see her being magically resurrected. Or imagine if Falco or Reiner sacrifice themselves to bring her back. So let me toss this fun one to you. Do you think Gabi will make it to the very end? And should she? Next up, Falco. So you already had Falco's brother that died recently. The question is, has Falco suffered enough? Cue Isayama smirking in the background. Currently, you do have Falco as the Jaws Titan, which is currently downloading the bird patch. Don't you forget that the Jaws Titan has already been passed over several times. In the current story, there are two very clearly defined ships that Isayama has set up for the finale. I could see Falco dying to serve as his loss for as little as Sugar Muffin. So I'm putting Falco's chances at decent, anywhere from 30 to 40%. Right now, I really don't feel too strongly for Falco, although I could see his anime debut changing this. Next up, Hitch. You had Annie ditching Hitch back on the island, which might have been her meal ticket out of the series alive, unless the island gets somehow nuked. Riko. Really, Riko, one of the top 10 unsolved Titan mysteries continues. It'd be funny if Sam actually forgot about her. But she'll pop up years later in the next Attack on Titan data guidebook. During that time, it'll be officially confirmed Riko alive, perhaps with children that love apples. Koni's Titan mother. You actually saw this Titan mama show up not too long ago post timeskip. Will she actually revert to normal one day, only to find out that her numbnut got rubbed away? Koni, calling it now, a high chance for him. And honestly, I really don't feel too strongly either way. He kinda lost me post timeskip, although I kind of expect the anime to bring me back to him. The great Titan Master could keep him around just to keep him away from Sasha that much longer. Jean the Stallion. I was really expecting the Stallion to take up the next commander role for the Survey Corps. Hanji instead passed that honor to blonde boy Armin. Although given the track record for that position, the Stallion may have avoided a very gluey fate. I'm gonna put his Deadpool odds at 50-50. Will Jean turn into some Tenji sashimi, or ride into the sunset with Mikasa? That so-called dream. Was it really a dream? You know what would be cruel? If the Stallion does get into this near-death scenario, and at that moment you see him recalling that wonderful dream, the blissful reality of what could have been. Reiner. The chances for Reiner are pretty high. It has been quite the trip to see the tragic story for Reiner unveiled. You got this mixed Elodine kid with quite the mother and father. It's almost poetic how the Titan shifter who wants to log off is one of the ones most incapable of doing so. Reiner, truly a character made to suffer. But Isayama says, why stop there? I do see the odds for Mr. Reiner being pretty high, in his favor. Not only do I see Reiner making it out, I'm gonna double down on my previous theory of Reiner ultimately becoming the next Hilo-like figure, which means taking credit for some victory. How do you feel that Reiner's fate will unfold? Blonde girl Annie. So you had her being in a crystal coma for years and years. Did all of that happen really just to have her come back to die? You know that her papa has been Annie's driving fuel. Somehow he's also escaped those Titan stompers. Right now this is what I'm picturing. Either Annie dies or her father dies. Not both. And honestly, it's a much higher chance for Papa to die. I would actually put Armin coming into Annie's feelings as a strike against Papa. And you know I personally love her character, so I don't want her to go into the Titan light. Come on Annie, you got to live to make some mini cinnamon rolls with best girl Armin. Annie, ride that colossal Titan. Peak. She currently feels like the Bert-like character of the group, with the least well-known backstory. But, does Isayama really have a reason to kill her off? Killing off the card Titan, at least emotionally, wouldn't be much of a loss. I mean, think about it, who is she connected to anyway? She seemed to be closest to Zeke and Falco. You know how that ended up. Perhaps Gabby recently? I'm not going to be surprised with the finale having a lot of people sacrificing themselves to just save someone else. So I could see her dying off to save Falco or Gabby. Actually, now that I think about it, Peak should have been the one that stayed behind instead of Hanji. Either way, odds look overall in her favor. Zeke, the monkey boy. Please, 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 be stuck in the Titan realm, at least temporarily. Make no mistake, Zeke is alive somewhere. Just like Papa, Leonhardt didn't get killed off screen, Zeke will return. The original Jaeger's son could live due to Isayama not wanting to give Levi the kill. I could also see Zeke ultimately dying, but not Levi getting that credit. If Zeke does live, you could argue that would be Isayama flipping the shonen trope of the older brother dying for the younger brother. It would also mean Eren winning. Zeke talks several times about saving Eren, but what if Eren is ultimately the one that does the saving instead? For this one, I'm gonna leave it at a coin toss. I'm split down the middle. And for me personally, Zeke has always been this interesting character, which is why I'm leaning towards him making it to Levi's tea shop one day. Levi Ackerman. Ho ho, this will be a fun one. Does Levi have any chance of opening up that tea shop someday, complete with a pair of goggles decorated on the wall? But Ackerman, more like Hackerman. The guy is so overpowered that Isayama had to come up with this half-assed way to nerf him on a side mission. I'm still shaking my head at how that series of events went down. Either way, as Levi stands right now, he needs no getup for Halloween 2020. He could possibly have some side issues, but for slashing away, minus 2 digits. But wait, did Levi get the fingers back? I don't know if this was another oopsie by Isayama. He did add extra fingers elsewhere too. Anyone also recall the time that Erwin got his arm back? If Levi actually recovered, that really only confirms that Isayama came up with this somewhat convoluted way to remove Levi from the story without actually pulling the trigger. On the flip side, a more positive outlook. This is all according to the Titan Master pulling the strings, which means it was a combo of Eren and Ymir healing up Levi. This way, Levi, and by extension the Levi fangirls and butt boys, got no reason to complain if Levi God Mode is about to unleash his final Beyblade technique. But really, honestly, screw that. If Levi actually got completely healed, or at least the fingers restored, Isayama would have only done this for one purpose. Looks like Levi's about to join up with his previous master soon. Oh sorry, I meant drinking buddy. So, what are the chances of Levi going out like a star? It's sky high. But, didn't Levi promise to slice up more Beast Titan steaks? For this, I would just say it would be very Attack on Titan-like for Levi not to finish his goal. It would actually bring some parallels to Erwin, you know, dying just before the basement finish line. You already know I'm a Levi fan, especially after all the suffering and tragedy the guy has endured. Levi must have this variation of the Reiner curse. Everyone close to him dies. You might actually be able to argue that Levi should live, just to avoid that shonen trope or cliche of the badass hero dying. I think the much bigger question is whether Isayama has the Titan-sized smooth balls to do it. After all, Levi is the one shaking his moneymaker for the Attack on Titan franchise, making it rain. Levi simps would be torn apart. And just being real for a second, you know how insane anime fans could get when their favorite character gets creamed? Levi at the moment would fit the bill for this super ultimately beloved character. There are millions of Levi simpers. How many of those are ready to just explode and go cuckoo? It would only take a handful. I would only hope for Isayama's sake that any outrage from so-called Levi or Attack on Titan fans, any of that potential backlash to just stay online. But what is your take? Should Levi reach his end? In some ways, regardless of my feelings on -1 Ackerman, I would have to applaud Isayama for actually doing it, just knowing the possible money consequences and fan eruptions. Ymir, the little blonde girl. I am buying more and more into her possibly getting reincarnated, whether that's actually due to Stora's baby or otherwise. So you're gonna have millions dying worldwide, but +1 from this birth. Potentially instead of being revived fully, but more like spiritually free, which wouldn't be a complete rebirth, but some type of freedom in the afterlife. I'll leave it to Isayama to iron out the details for us hardcore fans to nitpick at later. Kiyomi. Recently, you saw her taking part of the blame for the two Jaeger bros meeting up, and thereby starting this whole mess. I would say there's a low chance of her sinking, considering she's on a boat far away, unless the Colossal Titans catch up to her, meaning Granny will live. Oyakupon. For this character, no real reason for him to die. I will mention that him and Yelena did come as a package, so I could see one of them dying, but not both. Let me know if you have a favorite. Yelena. At the moment, it seems like Yelena's really just hovering around. It doesn't even seem like she cares whether she lives or dies. If Zeke is confirmed dead, then I could actually see her jumping that bridge to reunite with him. Niccolo. I see Isayama keeping this guy alive. I mean, why kill him? Niccolo will keep on living on, hopefully being able to move on from the death of his Eldian sweet potato passing. Historia. At the moment, Historia should be back on the farm or wherever her secret hiding spot is located. Back before Game of Thrones went to complete crap, there was that popular idea about Isayama taking inspiration from it. Possibly one of the Game of Thrones ladies dying while giving birth, but you know how that turned out. Still, even if Historia does die, that will still mean the birth of the new Eldian kid. I really don't see Historia being offed off, unless Isayama wants to smash the queen to completely eliminate the Reyes family bloodline. But even then, that wouldn't be accomplished with the little munchkin left behind. All the Colossal Titans. All the fun-sized Titans got wiped out. You're in the endgame with only Colossal Titans plus Titan Shifters left. Whether Eren wins or loses, what happens to them? Two possible destinies for them. Either they get snapped away if Eren disappears, a side option to this with them just be melting away over time just due to the heat, or what I hope would be part of Eren's master plan, which would somehow involve the Wall Colossal Titans being reverted back to being human. After all, it was that pesky Eldian king who subjected them into this eternal fate. Too bad for the ones that Hanji killed. Whoops. Let's see how the Puppet Master Isayama decides everything. Who should he spare? We'll see who's right in a few months. Here's a fun bonus. Which Attack on Titan death completely wrecked you? For me, it was definitely losing Hanji. Don't forget to subscribe. Come on, let's hit 500,000 before the end of this year. Hopefully that could be a shiny spark for 2020. Don't miss my Demon Slayer review, and I'll see you guys later.